I just had garlic and I'm wearing a mask, so that's great life choices on my part. It's really cold out here, so I'm wearing a blanket. Can you wear a blanket? I don't know. No, I do not have a job, if you were wondering. And if you didn't ask, I know you were wondering it subconsciously, so I've answered your question. You're welcome. I am dying. Slowly, but aren't we all? Anyways, hi, welcome to Rambling, where I talk basically about anything and everything that I think, have opinions on, and or have experienced. Now that we have that out of the way, I really don't have much to talk about. Actually, no, that's a lie. I do, but I don't. Because I don't really script these things. It's a podcast. I don't want it to be too heavily scripted, so I don't script anything, which honestly might be a problem, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not really sure if that's a problem or not. We'll find out. We'll find out eventually. Anyways, my sister gave me some pointers on the last episode, and she was like, "You talk too much," which is kind of the point of like the whole thing. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about like what's going on in my life, but rather some opinions that I do have as of recently because when was it? Okay, so let's start off with what I did with the week. Let's structure it a little bit. Um it's Wednesday, so I haven't done a lot, but on Monday, I stayed home. I'm writing a novel. Oh my god, shocker. What? Yeah, I'm writing a novel and I'm gonna be honest, it's a novel that I've been writing for 8 years, but like I didn't know I was soft writing until like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I've been soft writing a book for 8 years. I wrote the first draft, or like, your zero draft, 8 years ago in ninth grade. And then I was like, this is never gonna get published. I can't even write, so why am I trying? Why am I writing this? I don't know. And so I gave up on it, but I always had it like in the back of my head. And about 2 years ago, I took it up again. I wrote two different drafts. So there's the second draft and the third draft. And they're actually on Wattpad. I took them down, so don't bother looking for them. But like, they were on Wattpad for a very, very long time. And then I again had the same crisis where I was like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. I can't write for a living. I can't do any of this. So why am I bothering to do this? I don't know. I really, really don't know. And again, I gave up and I was like, I'm not gonna bother. It doesn't matter. No one even knows. Like, I even tried this. So, you know what? This dies with me. However, this year, for some reason, I was like, you know what? I should do something with my life. And if this is something that I really want to do, whether I publish it, whether I don't publish it, I want to feel like that sense of accomplishment that I've done something with my life and that I've managed to like finish a project that I've started, because I start a lot of stuff and then I never finish them. Oh wow. The fridge conveniently stopped humming. That's nice. Not the point. The point is like what was I talking about again? Oh, right, the novel. Um the point is like I in January I was like reflecting on last year and how last year was a huge disaster considering everything that I talked about in the last episode of the podcast. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make the most of 2024, and if this is something that I want to do, I want to do it because it's for me. You know, I want to write something. I want something to reflect, um, different parts of my life in a sense, and kind of process them through this process of writing. And I think that's a great way to process your feelings and your experiences and different things. And writing has always been something I've always loved. As a kid, I started writing when I was in sixth grade, and I stopped in high school because high school was a difficult time for me. Um, and yeah, like it was something that just was always very important to me, and I never really took it back up again, if that makes sense. So, what I decided to do in January was start writing again, and I did. I did start writing a little bit more consistently. I started making it a habit, and then, as you guys know, I was in my last quarter of university. I was quite busy doing a lot of different things, so I kind of put it on the side, and now that I'm not doing anything, I took it back up again. I ideally would like to submit the story to maybe publishers or even like a competition or something like that. I don't really know which ones yet. However, it would be kind of cool if I did that, but that's like far-fetched for now. Like right now, I have a couple chapters. I don't have like a proper book title or a book name. I'm barely starting, if you will. I have a very basic idea of what I want the story to be, but there's a lot of like kinks I need to work out first before. Can I say that? Can I say kinks in that form? Is that grammatically correct? I don't know. I just need to fix a lot of things, and so that's what I've been doing basically. I've been writing a lot, and for the sake of writing, I'm also reading a lot. As of recently, I've been reading 6 different books. At least I think there's 6. I don't know. And the reason why I've been reading a lot is for 2 reasons. One, I feel like I use my phone a lot, like a lot, and I don't like that. I use a lot of social media, and I start to feel bad about myself. I get overwhelmed and overstimulated and sad and anxious. And I started to notice that in the last couple weeks, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. Especially when I'm gonna go to sleep. It just makes me feel a lot more anxious to use social media, especially TikTok. Like I will scroll for hours and I would just feel bad about myself, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm trying to make it a habit to like read a little bit before I go to bed. That way I'm like changing my habits slowly. I find that I'm not good at cold turkey techniques. If I do something cold turkey within like 2 days, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I hate this anyways. I'm not gonna do it, and I don't end up doing it. But I know that if I work gradually towards something, I can, I can actually work towards bettering my habits. So that's what I've been trying to do. So in the mornings, I'm not allowed to use TikTok specifically for the first like 30 minutes of my waking up. After 30 minutes, if I want to go on TikTok, I can do that. But I find that the first 30 minutes, I can just wake up, I can check my messages if I have any. I can check Instagram because Instagram to me is boring, so I'm not going to use it that often, anyways. And then I can just put on a podcast or put on a YouTube video. I love listening to video essays, and then I can, like, start making coffee and, like, go about my day. But I find that if I open TikTok first thing in the morning, I will stay in bed for hours, and I don't like that. So I've been trying to, like, slowly put in those habits. So no TikTok in the morning, no TikTok before going to bed. That's it. Like I find that it's been helping me a lot to go less on my phone, feel better about myself, and just simply be more productive. So far so good. Let there be light. Wait, it's not that great, but it's something. Right. So what was I on about again? I was on about something. Right. So, habits. Just making sure your habits are improving your life is very important in helping you become more productive, but at the same time, just maintaining your mental health. So that's what I've been trying to do as of recently. And to do that, I've been reading more. So currently, I don't know how many books I'm reading, so let's count them with me. Count the books I'm reading challenge. What? That doesn't make sense. Hold on. Count the books I'm reading with me. Yay. So I started Battle Royale at the beginning of the year. I don't remember the author's name. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. But I'm reading Battle Royale because I watched a video on it and I watched the movie. The movie kind of sucks, but it really interested me in reading the book. So I started reading the book, and the book is definitely 100 times better. If you haven't read it, read it. I'm not even halfway through the book because it's really, really long, but I really like it. What else am I reading? I'm reading The Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. Again, another great read. I bought the book last year and I'm finishing it this year, but fair enough. Like, I was busy last year and I was busy this year, but I'm getting there, okay? I'm finishing the book. Calm down. After that, I bought last year I bought the book Nevernight because I saw it in a video and I was like, wow, that's like a really cool like story concept. I'm gonna read it. It's all right. I haven't really read past like the 20 pages, the first 20 pages. So, when I have a better, more concrete answer for you, I'll tell you all about it. After that, I'm reading a poetry book that my boyfriend gave me because he really wanted me to read it because he was like, I think about you when I read this, like these poems. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. I'm gonna read it. So I'm like starting that one. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, I'm reading that. So there goes three. I'm reading Imagine Me by Tahare Mafi. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but she's the one who wrote the Shatter Me series, and I really enjoyed the first three books back in high school, which was like the last series that I read in high school. And then I read Restore Me, Defy Me, and now I'm reading Imagine Me, which are the last three books of the series. Which honestly, this last book has me like shook. Like my heart's pounding. I'm like sweating. Like, oh my God, it's intense. And I'm only like a couple pages in, so it's probably gonna be really good. I really want to know what happens to the characters. I really like Warner. I think every girl who's read the Shatter Me series is obsessed with Warner, but I think everybody has like it makes sense. Like how could you not like Warner? And if you know what I'm talking about, we have to be friends. Um what else? So that's three books. Five, no, those are four books. What else am I reading? Um, I don't remember. I genuinely do not remember. Battle Royale, Imagine Me, the Mountains Echo, Nevernight. I was supposed to start like reading another book that one of my aunts gave me that she wrote, but I haven't started it yet. So I'm reading four books. Oh, that's not that bad actually. It's a little bit, tedious to like be reading four books at the same time, but I can get bored of one book quite quickly. I have ADHD, so I kind of get bored of things quickly. So I try to like have a rotation of things to do and books to read so that I don't get bored of one thing. Sometimes I have to force myself to finish books, and I'm glad I do, but sometimes I'm not. Like, quite frankly, like, it can be hard. It's really cold. Like, my hands are freezing. Okay, so those are the books that I'm currently reading. Yesterday, I went to see my boyfriend because he had a presentation to do and I wanted to support him. So I spent the day with him. And then today I was just writing my novel again. Tomorrow it's Thursday, probably gonna see my boyfriend. Can you tell that I see him a lot? I'm very grateful that I can see him a lot actually. On Friday, I have no idea what I'm doing. Saturday, I'm having some friends over. Sunday is Eid. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking forward to Eid this year. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna wear. But honestly, Eid prayer can be really boring since I don't really know a lot of people at, like the mosque. It's very difficult to meet people because a lot of the people are like 10, 15, 20 years older than me. Like there's nobody my age. So it's very difficult to like get along with people. So sometimes I just go to Eid prayer to just pray and then that's it. I don't really do anything. And this year they're hosting it like literally an hour away from my home. It's super far and I don't have like there's not a bus that can take me, let alone like going on the bus wearing an Eid outfit. That's gonna be like super weird because like I can wear shalwar kameez on like public transport, but I have my limits. Like there's just some shalwar kameez that I can't wear because it's just too flashy and I don't want to be like I can understand people are gonna stare at me, but there are just moments where I don't want to be stared at that much. And since I'm already not feeling too good about this, I don't want to be on a bus where people are going to be staring at me weird. Like it's just I don't want to deal with that, and I can't pay an Uber cuz that's too freaking expensive. Like way too expensive. So, not sure what I'm going to do on Eid. Um yeah, like that's like a little highlight reel of what I'm doing currently. I am still applying to jobs. Nothing has really come up yet. I don't really know if anything's gonna come up. I'm kind of starting. I'm already tired of applying to jobs, and I hate the way that you have to apply to jobs. Like on LinkedIn, sometimes they have like easy apply, which I really like that because it makes sense to do that. But when they like redirect you to a different website just so that you apply on their website and you have to like make an account in their portal and then like add all of your details over and over and over again, even if you like put like auto like the automatic feature where like it will read your resume and like how do you say it, like yeah, it will read your resume and then fill in all the little blanks. It's still really annoying because sometimes it reads your resume wrong, and so you have to go ahead and like correct everything. It's just so annoying. Not to mention the amount of times that I've received just emails from all of these portals that I'm never going to use again. Like I was just using it to apply to this one job. Calm down, don't send me emails, stop harassing me. But they won't. They're like, oh, you applied to this, maybe you can apply to this, or maybe you can apply to that. Like, I wanted to apply to one job. Calm down. You're not that great either. Calm the frick down, dude. And it's just really annoying, like, receiving emails randomly from, like, all of these websites that I don't even remember signing up to. That's the worst part. And I'm like, where did I get this email from? And it's apparently from some job board portal. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want from me? What do you want? Stop. Like, what do you want? Do you want me to, like, what? I don't know. Do you want me to apply to all of these jobs that they're gonna reject me from anyways with ChatGPT messages? Like, stop. Stop harassing me. So, anyways, I don't really know. Um, that stuff annoys me. It annoys me so much. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I still have to, but right now what I'm looking for is internships because I don't have enough experience, and all of these jobs are asking for like 1 to 5 years of experience, a bachelor's degree in all of these fields of study. Make sure that you know how to use Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. Like, I know all of these things, but then, and the favorite one. My favorite ones, like in the requisitos part, or like the prerequisites, I guess, is like must have knowledge in all of these different programs, which are like a bunch of programs I've never heard of. Like, what the hell is Asana? What the hell is that? I had to look it up, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. So I'm scared. I was scared when I saw that one and a bunch of them, and I was like, I don't have no idea. Or coding languages, and I'm like, I'm a communications major. How am I gonna know coding languages, dude? That's insane. My favorite one is must have a license B1. Must have a license. Must have a license. A driver's license? Why do you need me to have a driver's license if it's a remote job? Just asking, like genuinely just asking, like how does that work? Like I'm not even gonna go visit you, so like what do you need that for? I don't know. I don't know. Or my favorite one, must have a B1 level of English. If they saw my resume, they would know that I'm a native speaker. You know, like I sprech into English as my first language. And I'm amazing. I'm a polyglot. I speak 4 different languages. And they're still not wanting to hire me. Dude, the vast majority of people, and this is no shade to people here, but like a good majority of people don't speak English, or if they do, they handle like a very minimal level of English. And I get that for some jobs, that's okay. That works. But if you're going to work in communications, there's like nothing better than having a bunch of languages under your belt because that will help you communicate with like clients abroad. Does that make sense? And they're asking for a B1 level of English. Why am I wearing another blanket? Well, for your information, it's cold outside. Number one. Number two, I had to stop filming the other day because my storage was full. So I had to figure out how to like what to delete and what not to delete and all of that stuff. And anyways, well, whatever, you don't care. The point is like we're back, okay? We're back. It's a different day. It's a great day. Moving on. I don't remember the last thing I was talking about, but I'm gonna just switch gears as if, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or pretend that this is a great transition. Great? Awesome. So we're just gonna transition into the next topic, I guess. Right. So the other day I saw a TikTok video which was talking about how if your partner or your boyfriend has like a girl best friend, you should run. Run for the hills and never come back. Why? Um, well, there's a lot of red flags actually if you think about it. If your partner has, a girl best friend, that's kind of that's a little bit, just it should make sense why. I'm not really good at explaining things, but I definitely understand like why it would be a red flag. Actually, it made me think the other day about my roommate. Now you might be wondering, what? You had a roommate? Yes, I had a roommate actually. I used to live in a house for like 2 years. I lived in that house, and for the first year or so, I had a roommate. Now I make sarcastic quotation marks because she lived with me like on again, off again for 6 months, and then stopped living with me when we had a lot of problems. Which it really wasn't problems directly with her. There were more problems directly with her family. But I digress. It just overall we had a lot of disagreements. She wasn't very like respectful of personal space, and she was also not respectful of my mental health issues and all of that stuff, and boundaries were just not a concept to her or her family. So yeah, that kind of like drove us to just living apart. Anyways, for the first 6 months that she did live with me, she's had a long-term boyfriend. They've been like together for like 5 years. I know the guy. He's, I guess, nice. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really know him. And I remember that within those 6 months that we were living together, okay, so now you have context. And I want to tell you guys this story because I don't know, I feel like this story just kind of like hit me when I saw that TikTok, and I'm like, oh my God, everything just like connected in my head. All of my synapses were like, yes, you're absolutely right about this. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be a great story to tell on the podcast. Even if it's not like the most like entertaining story, I don't know. It's definitely like, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you think about this story. So anyways, within these 6 months that we were living together, the boyfriend didn't come very often to the house. Mostly she would go and visit him, or they would go out or whatever, I don't know, eckies. I was not very concerned about what they were doing in their relationship or how or whatever. Like on the outside, everything seemed quite boring, but healthy enough. So I never really said anything. And one day, in the morning, I found out that something had happened in her family. She had a really bad situation. She was feeling quite bad about it, and that her boyfriend was gonna come over. And I'm like, okay, great, you have your boyfriend's support. Fast forward in the afternoon, he comes, and I'm in my room, and my room was like at the back of the house, so I couldn't really hear anything that they were doing or talking about. And about like, I don't know, like 45 minutes from his arrival, she's crying. And I'm like, oh, like, dude, she's probably, going through a really hard time. A really bad thing happened to her family. So, maybe, he came to support her and be there for her and yada yada. About like another half hour passes. So it's been like an hour and something, right? And I hear the door open and close, like the main door open and close. And I'm like, that's weird. Did somebody leave? Did they leave? Maybe they left and I'm home alone. And they didn't tell me anything. I don't know. And I was just like, just doing my stuff when all of a sudden I hear like a knock on the door like 20 minutes later. And it's my roommate crying. She's sobbing. She's sobbing because like her boyfriend dumped her the day that a really bad thing had happened to her family. I don't even recall what had happened. All I remember is like something really bad had happened, like a medical condition had to somebody had happened, and she was crying, she was sobbing, and she's like, "He dumped me." I'm like, "What?" And then, she's here explaining to me mid crying, like, "Oh, he dumped me, and I don't know why. He said that he's been wanting to do this for a while." And that he just can't envision himself with me anymore, and I don't know, a bunch of BS that he was talking about, and basically he just wanted to dump her and leave. And so, for about 2 good weeks, me and my family and her family, we tried to be as supportive as we could and make sure that she was all right and that she was getting enough like emotional support. And in those 2 weeks, she was starting to feel a little better, and she went back to like, her responsibilities, uni classes, work, etc., etc. Right? She was doing fine. What I do know is that they had maintained contact for those 2 weeks, and after those 2 weeks were up, he texts her and he goes like, "I want to see you again." And she comes and tells me and like her family, and everybody's like, what? He dumped you. Why do you want to go see him? Excuse me? Like, that's a little bit like he dumped you. You did process that fact, right? And she's like, "Yeah, I know, but I really want to see him, and I want to see if I can get closure and understand a little bit better of why he dumped me." And I'm like, "Okie dokie, fine." The day that she goes to see him was the day that I was at home and her sister was staying with us. And we both were a little bit iffy about the situation, but you know what? She's a big girl. My roommate's a big girl. She can do whatever she wants. If she wants to, like, do it for the plot, girl, you do it for the plot, okay? So she goes, she meets up with him. They meet up at, like, a cafe or something. She comes back a couple hours later. I walk out the house to, like, be like, "Hey, dude, like, what happened?" Um, a couple hours later, she comes back home and I ask her, like, what happened? And she's like, "We're gonna try it out again. We're gonna fix things this time." And all I did was I turned around and I walked away. Because what? Like, and this wasn't like one of, like, not even like, this was like a big red flag on top of the other red flags that he had. Because this man would always make her like go to his house, and whenever she wanted to like whenever they like wanted to see each other, she had to move, and she had to take like commute, and she had to see if she could like arrange for transport and pay for that transport, like an Uber or a bus. Usually she would take Uber. So, and she was paying all of that just to go see him because he lived like about 40 minutes away from our house, and he did not like come and like drop her off or pay for that transport as far as I am concerned, as far as I know. Like, I don't, from my understanding, he would never come to our house. I don't know why, because he was not that busy. But I digress. I don't know anything about their relationship. There were also other like red flags, like she would stay for days at his house and then she would come back for a day to like wash clothes and what's it called, like pack new clothes and then leave again for another couple of days. So it was really weird living with her because she would do that. So honestly, I was basically living alone at that point. So yeah, those were kind of like a couple red flags. Also, I had a couple encounters with him and a couple interactions that were really, really weird and weirded me out to a point where I was like, this dude's creepy. And I don't like him. He does not give me good vibes. He gives me like creepy, creepy vibes. And when I feel creepy vibes, I know I'm right. Because you can feel the vibe of someone, you can feel their aura. I'm sounding like some hippie, but if you guys want me to tell you guys those stories, let me know, because I will tell them. I will tell you those stories because they're actually like, they're not creepy, but they're creepy enough where you're like, yeah, this man's creepy. But anyways, like all of that for me just kind of made me feel weirded out by this guy's presence, and a lot more weirded out when he breaks up with her for 2 weeks only for him to get back with her. Like, that's a little bit weird. That's, I think that's really weird, but I don't know anything. I don't know. Um, I don't remember. So, yeah, they got back together, and I remember like a good couple months later. Well, hold on. After they broke up, we had met a couple of her friends and like family, and everybody had said like that's really weird. He probably wanted like something with somebody else, and he just needed to dump you because he didn't want to cheat on you, or maybe he did do something and he felt bad about it and wanted to like break up with you. Which honestly, they're both pretty relevant and possible theories. So I remember when a couple months later, she goes like, "Oh, like he has like a girl best friend, and they're like hanging out or whatever." I don't remember what she said. All I remember is that she said that he had a girl best friend, and I was like, "Whoa." Everything just kind of like makes sense now. Like, they're probably, I'm not 100% sure, but like a small part of me says that there is a very possible chance that his girl best friend said something, or he felt something for the girl best friend, and something happened between them, and then in 2 weeks they figured out that it was not going to work. Or something did happen and they realized, like, ew, I actually don't really like you, and I'm going to go back to my ex-girlfriend. Which, honestly, again, everything is a relevant theory, everything is possible. She never really told us what happened. And by us, I mean like me and her family, because her family was also very, very disappointed that she had decided to get back together with him. I remember like the day that they got back together, her mom called and she was mad. She spoke for like 2 hours, and my roommate did not speak within those 2 hours. So, like, it was bad. It was bad. Everybody was not happy, but you know, it's been 2 years and a half since that happened, and they're still together. And I think that they don't really count those 2 weeks of the breakup as if, like, they pretend that it didn't happen because they always say that they've been like 4 years, 5 years together. So, yeah, you know what? That's cool. That's cool. Great. Good for you. Um, I'm happy for her as long as she's happy and it's a healthy relationship. I believe that people can mess up. I believe these things can happen and you can reconcile and forgive people and yada yada, but I don't know. Did he get rid of the girl best friend? Are they still friends? Do they still talk? Or did he like realize like, oh, that's like probably not something that I should, be involved with or whatever? Like, what happened? I'm gonna die not knowing. Maybe one day I'll ask her, but she and I aren't close by any means. We were never really close, and we didn't really get closer because of our roommate situation. And after that, we're still kind of in contact, but we only see each other very rarely. We follow each other on social media, so I like do see what she's doing, and she knows what I'm doing, but we don't meet up, and we're not friends. Honestly, we're not friends. There were a lot of issues with that, but it's okay. I don't really mind, you know. Um, what I do mind is that she didn't tell me what happened. I want to know. I want to know what happened in those 2 weeks. I need the tea. I need to understand, because that's something that I sometimes, when you're like in bed and you're lying down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, and your brain is like sending you things to think about, and you have intrusive thoughts, or at least I have intrusive thoughts. So my intrusive thoughts go like, what happened in those 2 weeks that they broke up? You think something happened? And I will never know. And I will never know, and that's the sad part, that I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't. Anyways, I think I'm gonna leave this podcast episode here because I feel like if I keep going, it's gonna be too long. If you have any Girl best friend stories, let me know. I would love to hear them. You can leave them in a comment, you can DM me or whatever. If you're interested in art and anything that I do outside of the podcast, my social media is linked down below. Subscribe if you liked the podcast, and if you have like a topic that you want me to talk about, let me know again. And yeah, that's it. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I feel like this episode was a little bit better than my last one. I feel like my last one like was very dark and deep, but at the same time like I feel like that's sometimes necessary to just let things out and vent. And I'm glad that I did that. I feel a lot better now. And yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, I send you a lot of hugs and love. And yeah, thank you for stopping by again. Hope you do well. And I hope to see you guys some other time. Bye. I'm serious, like the freaking motorcycle just passed. Oh my god. I hate when they pass by as if they're like in Formula One. Like, dude, calm down. These roads have holes, okay? They're not meant for racing or going over 100 kilometers per hour, but I don't know.